All right, welcome to week 4, or 5, actually. Welcome to week 5, everyone. We have 1 week after this week, and then it's convention time. So a lot of exciting things going on. And there's some fun stuff coming out this month. So to start out, just to show accountability, to show the things, I would love to hear in the comments a win for last week, or if you want to put a win for the month. I would encourage you guys to make a reflection habit so that you can track your wins, because I think it's so important in this business, because sometimes what we are like our big crazy goal, sometimes that doesn't get met, and it's easy to start being disappointed or frustrated or having negative emotions because we didn't hit that one huge particular goal. But in the process of going for some huge particular goal, we hit a bunch of other small goals and have a lot of other wins. So I would love for you guys to share in the comments even one thing that happened in your business in the past week, or if you want to just say for May, I would love to hear. And so would everyone else. So go ahead and chat those in the comments. And okay, so today we're going to talk about a few things. I thought it might be helpful for me to go over goal setting and what I do, because I think that it's really valuable to hear, what I do, or, to see that it's not like you arrive and then you never have to goal set again. So every month, it's just my system for myself is I reflect and I goal set. So today we're going to be talking about goal setting. Also, June is implement time. And Leaders Retreat started June 1st. And there was an email that came out with some of the information. There'll be the rest of the info released at convention. So it'll be very exciting. The location for Leaders Retreat, and also the prizes, the different prize tiers. So very exciting. Every single person needs to be there. Like, it's one of those trips that you earn, and they roll out the red carpet. It was so belief building our first year. So I am just encouraging everyone to go make it happen and to commit from June 1st, not to wait until the last half of August and be like, oh, I'm not too far away, I could do it. So anyways, that's my encouragement there. And then we're going to talk a little bit about energy, which is just stuff I'm learning. And so I thought it might be helpful to share what I've been learning. Okay, so how do I personally goal set? So first of all, I pick out how many people I'm going to personally sponsor. And depending on what fun incentives are going on, that may adjust my goal. And it also may depend on where I'm at in the certain seasons of my business. But in the beginning stages of my business, I would say the first 2.5 years, my main goal was to sign up as many people as possible and have as many conversations as my life schedule would allow. So that's the name of the game, because if you don't recruit people, then you have no one to develop to silver. So and then, that's where you affect people's lives. It's where, changes are made for other people. So this month, everyone's personal goal should be at least 3, because if you add 3, you're going to test out the new product. So that's exciting. And my encouragement there is do it early. I know life can be crazy, and sometimes you get to the end of the month, you're like, oh my word, I haven't signed anyone. And so then it's a scramble. And that's what I did in April, and I didn't hit the goal, or maybe it was March. One of those months, I think it was March, because we were traveling a bunch, and personally sponsoring was just not my main goal that month. But I wanted to, whatever the incentive was, it was like, oh, I should try to hit that. But I didn't start messaging people till like the last couple days of the month. And the thing with what we do is the consistency of like talking to people every day, having more new conversations. There was a post in the Jewel page, a question asked, like, how are you guys adding 10 people a month? Like, I want to know your secrets. But the secret, it's not a secret. It's basically, you have to be interacting with a lot of non-Plexus people on a daily basis and creating new conversations. And so if you're in Facebook groups and you're trying to develop new relationships is like being present every day in those groups. Same with, if you decide to work Instagram, same type of thing. It's just like every day showing up, and that consistency over time is what's going to bring fruit. And so trying to sign 5, 6, 9 people at the end of a month, or even 3 sometimes, this doesn't work because there hasn't been enough conversations going. So so anyways, my encouragement is to get your 3 early this month, and really work on personally sponsoring. It's just a matter of conversations and closing those conversations and helping people get started. So then I ask myself, who am I helping go silver? And then I look at my list and say, what conversations do I need to have? So today in my protected plexus time, I'm going to be messaging this list of wholesale people, people that can go super silver, wholesales that can go silver, and also to connect with all of my people from 2019 that I've personally signed. So it's not like you just sign them and then drop them. It's a continual relationship. Make sure you're commenting on their posts, things like that. And then, so I set my goal, and then I also put down on my paper the people that can rank up in a particular month. And so I like to track that. So that's something else I do. And then I schedule my week. So do you guys all have a planner? Maybe you do one on your phone. Those are so important. Justin and I sat down on Sunday and kind of mapped up our week. And it just helps. If you're not, what is that quote? We don't fail to plan. No one plans to fail. What we all, or some of us, fail to plan. And that's why we don't get to where we want to go. And so same way with the schedule. Part of the homework today is to schedule out posts for the week. You don't have to like pre-post them, but just have a plan of what you're going to share. And also even just a kind of a skeleton of maybe topics, and then schedule your week. So whatever that means to you, if that's, designating, time blocks to things, making sure you have an hour at least of plexus protected time every day. Or if you're, if you work shift work, maybe it would be you blitz every 3 days, and you do 2 or 3 hours a day on those days that you're off of work, however that works for your schedule. But basically making sure that the plexus time is in there in the schedule. And then another thing that I do, I'll just share, that has helped my brain space a lot, is to meal plan. So I just map out each week what the plan is, and I can shift those meals around. I mean, it just relieves brain space, so I don't have to be constantly thinking about that. So just a little tip there. It just helps to have my brain on paper. And then the other thing that I also ask myself is like, who needs encouraged? And who from your team needs encouraged? It could be someone that's a wholesaler that's struggling on their products, or it could be someone that's on your team that's starting to share or starting to dabble. And so I encourage handwritten notes. Maybe you just want to send out thank you notes to all your customers that have been faithful. Those type of things, those touches, have huge impact in your business. So this week I have a list of people that I'm sending personal notes to, and I also have the earrings that I'm sending out. So anyways, just I'm sharing the things that I've done. A handwritten note is kind of a lost art. So I just go to Walmart and get like a big, fun stack of cute note cards that are blank, and it's a write-off. Any of those things are write-offs for your business. But yeah, just have a little handwritten note encouraging someone, or thanking them for being a loyal customer or a loyal wholesale customer. So anyways, that's a little bit of info there. So June, and this is what Jessica had encouraged everyone last week with on the accountability calls, June is implement month. There's some months where you may consume a lot of information, but implementing is the key. And I'll just share with you that I don't know that I did any personal development outside of like listening to Plexus videos and reading my Bible in the first year of Plexus, because I was so busy. I had every spare minute of my time was spent reaching out to people, following up, signing up, making posts on Facebook. So that was my That's how I got to where I wanted to go in my first year quickly. And so anyways, good things. All right, so I wanted to start off with a quote. And this is a quote you've probably heard before. It's a Bob quote, and I think it's so profound. It says, I just like perspective here. Your network marketing business is an assignment from God to help you grow as a person by facing your fears, and in the process of doing so, discover the true purpose for your life. And that quote, I felt like when he shared that on a call he did for Jessica in April, and actually he shared in Maui last year. He was in Maui for the Jewels on our Emerald trip, or Emerald Extravaganza trip. I just felt like that perspective helps you realize that Plexus is a vehicle. It's a personal development vehicle, really, with a compensation plan. So my question is, are we willing to grow, adapt, overcome, and change to hit the goals and dreams we set? Because that's really what this is about. Is it's a journey of overcoming fears. It's a journey of getting outside of our comfort zones. And I think this is thing. I'm listening to a audiobook. I can't remember the author, Jen someone. You are a bad ASS. And anyways, she kind of just hits it hard. And some of this stuff is taken from what I'm learning and listening to in that book. But she's saying we all have gifts. All of us have gifts. And in our business, we'll utilize our gifts. So the way I run my business, because you are the CEO of your own business, so it might not look exactly like mine, right? We might do things a little bit differently because of our gifts, the different gifts that we have. But you're equipped. And that's one thing I was thinking about this week is you guys have the skill set. You've gone silver. Some of you are super silver. Some of you are gold. Some of you are, who else? Emerald, or Amy's emerald. So you guys have taught yourself the skill set just by doing. It's talking to people and helping them get started, right? So you have the skill set to get you from silver to wherever you want to go. But what I was thinking is we've been also equipped with a heightened awareness of our own mindsets. Don't you think? Like just talking through our fears, talking through the limiting beliefs that hold us back, I think that gives us an awareness of when we are operating in scarcity versus abundance mindset, when we are having victim mentality instead of overcoming mentality. I shared a post yesterday of just some things I've been thinking about the past couple of months, just how using words like overwhelmed, frustrated, discouraged, depressed, those are words of the weak. Those are words of people that are not overcomers. Those are words people use that are walking in scarcity mindset instead of abundance mindset, and also being victims, where we're shifting blame, we're making excuses, instead of rising up, shifting our mindset, flipping the script. That's a decision. We have a decision whether to complain or to be grateful. And in every situation, there's something to be grateful for. Those beautiful people that always respond to their trials with grace and words of gratitude and thankfulness. You guys know some of those people? I guess I'll share this right now because I thought it was so profound. So I was listening to this lady on the book talk about energy levels. I don't know if you guys have learned anything about this, but it was so profound to me. I thought it made so much sense. So she said, so she was talking about being connected to source energy. So when she used those words like universe and things like that, I translate that into God because that's my worldview. So she was just saying connected to source energy. And I'm like, oh, cool. So connected to a higher power, connected to God, which is the source of everything, in my opinion. And so she was saying everything in this world that's alive, obviously, vibrates at a certain frequency. She's like, you're vibrating at a certain frequency. And she said, vibration attracts like vibration. She said it's something called the law of attraction. Have you guys ever heard that? there were some posts on Jessica's page. Some different people have been posting some training about the law of attraction. But basically, what you focus on expands because we are attracting energy. And she said, she described low frequency energy waves. And she said, this is when you're operating from a scarcity mindset. This is when you're pessimistic, cynical, needy, shame, full of shame. And so I was like, interesting. That is so interesting. And she said, we have to raise our frequency to the energy that we want to attract. And she said, when you're vibrating at a high frequency, you stumble upon people and opportunities. So basically, vibrating at a high frequency would be being excited, being passionate, being grateful, being joyful. That attracts those type of energy waves that you're putting off attracts that to you. And I would say my first year in Plexus, I did have knowledge because I was educating myself, but still I feel like I'm running off of. Now I have like faith is sight now because I actually have the things that I foresaw myself having when I was, an ambassador and then a silver ambassador and then a gold ambassador. So in a sense, like I have the physical things to back up what I was seeing back then. And even then I was vibrating at a high frequency because I was excited. I was passionate. I was pumped. I was daily getting up and doing the things because I foresaw what was coming. I had faith that this worked, that the time frame didn't matter, but that if I was consistent and committed to the action steps, and that I would do it. But looking back, there's a difference between someone that's going through the motions and they say they're messaging whatever 5 or 10 people a day, but getting absolutely nowhere, versus someone that's totally pumped and excited, that's backing what they're doing. They're going to attract different things into their business. So anyways, it was kind of a light bulb moment for me. I don't know if this is resonating with anyone, but she was saying that awareness is your key to freedom. So if you become aware that the language that you use in your brain or the language that you verbalize out loud is negative and condescending, it's self-depreciating, things like that, those are like low frequency vibrations, and we got to get rid of that. She said, raising your vibration means believing everything that you want is available to you and taking decisive action. And she said, hell-bent for glory type of action. And so I was cracking up at that. And she said, you have to believe that anything that you want is available to you. And she said, believing even when things are uncertain. So even when I didn't have the financial freedom, I wasn't making the amount of money that I'm making now, things like that, I believed even when it was somewhat uncertain. Like I didn't have the, I didn't have the things to back up what I was saying necessarily in the sense of, I had faith that this was going to happen, right? But there was uncertainty, right? Because it wasn't a reality yet. And so she also said this, which I thought was fascinating, and it struck a chord with me. I think some people, I hesitate to share this on Facebook because I think sometimes without context, it could be offensive because I know that there's so many things that go into emotional things, especially in regards to emotional trauma, like true trauma where there's been abuse and things like that. And I highly recommend people getting good godly counsel on, a lot of, abusive situations and things like that. But she said, depression is living in the past. Anxiety is living in the future. And when you're at peace, that means you're living in the present. And that I don't know why. It just resonated with me. I think because I had some level of anxiety about some stuff that was coming in my life. And I was realizing that I wasn't living in the present. Like, thank you, God, for today. I don't have to do X, Y, Z today. That's not for another however many months. That's not for 6 months or whatever. So that was just where my brain space was at, and it resonated with me. Depression is living in the past. Anxiety is living in the future. And when you're at peace, you're living in the present. And then she said, when you find your calling and your gifts, when we share what we were brought here to give, we live in alignment with our most powerful selves. So I thought that was really good. I thought that was excellent. So it's believing that anything that we want is available to us. It's taking decisive action, and it's recognizing what we're vibrating at. Like, what's our frequency? Where's your red dot? Where are you at? So I think it's important to recognize those things. Okay, a couple of things I wrote down is that good is the enemy of best. So my question is, how are you spending your time? Is it aligned with the goals that you've set? I know sometimes maybe you're in a funk and you're just like, I don't feel like it. I don't have the energy to back it up. So I'm just going to go binge and watch Netflix. Well, what if you raised your frequency level? How do we do that? I think there's certain activities that we can do to raise our activity level. Do you guys ever just stop and meditate or stop and breathe? That act can like clear your mind and help you refocus, and actually just oxygenating your body by taking in deep breaths can help alleviate stress. It can just like kind of cool you down. Another thing would be exercise, where you increase your heart rate, you start sweating, you release those endorphins and those happy hormones. There's other things that do that too, so you could go do that. I would say also music is super powerful. So for me personally, putting on worship music, even putting on happy music and just like dancing with the kids, that will raise your energy levels, especially if you're in a funk or you have just a lot of things going on in your life that are heavy. So, okay, so I wrote down, and this is stuff I was thinking about when I was driving in the car alone, quietly, and had time to think my thoughts. But I was just thinking, we have to start operating with intentionality, and it can start with something as simple as scheduling out our week, right? Writing a list of to-do things and time blocking, and making sure there is protected plexus time, at least 1 hour a day. If you're planning to rank up in the next couple of months, I would say at least 2 to 3 hours a day of IPA, which would be things that are truly income producing. That's not consuming things. That's not personal growth. It's like truly connecting with people and sharing on Facebook. Okay, so start operating with intentionality. And this is something that Jessica taught us in the accountability classes that I've been doing with her. She said, everything that you want is available to you if you approach life with intentionality, which I think is encouraging. I think it's so encouraging. So some of us need to start operating with intentionality in regards to our schedule. Like, do you have a budget for your time? Every single person has 24 hours in their day. 7 or 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours is sleeping time, right? And then the other, however many hours, 18, 16 hours, is there for us to budget, right? To utilize. So there you go. And what's important to you? The things that are important to you will get time. Okay, some of us need to start showing up for ourselves and just making that consistent daily commitment. Some of us need to be operating from faith instead of feeling. I read a quote by Ray Higdon that said, "What's feeling got to do with it?" There's going to be days when you'll feel like it, but you just go and do it, right? There's some of us that need to start operating and holding ourselves accountable for doing things like exercising and drinking our water and taking our supplements consistently. Okay, so if you've fallen off the bandwagon, good news. Just hop back on the bandwagon. It starts with a choice, and it starts today. So I love that quote that says, "Today is a new day with no mistakes in it yet." Anna Green Gables. Okay, and then the next thing is some of us need to outsource. If you're at a certain point in your business, or, I encourage people to outsource, leverage, AKA hire some help, even before you feel like you can truly even afford it, because it's honestly an investment in your business. You just have to look at the investment versus cost and where you want to be in your business, and that will scrubbing my own toilets get me to where I want to go. Or when paying, a high school kid or someone in there, trying to pay for college, paying them $10 an hour to come blitz through my house for 2 hours a week, or maybe it's babysitting your children. Have someone super fun come over for an afternoon a couple days a week so you can work smarter, not harder. You can get twice as much done in half the time, and you actually have bandwidth to think your things without feeling like a squirrel. Okay, bouncing back and forth. And so anyways, just FYI, there's no super moms. So do not feel guilty if you can't do it all, because hello, truth bomb, we can't do it all. And even prior to Plexus, I had hired help. My husband told me that even Proverbs 31 lady had hired help. She had not hired help. She had handmaidens. That's what it says. So release yourself from guilt if that's where you are. If you're perfectionistic or a very, very controlling type person, it's okay. All right. So all that to say, guess what happens to your IPA when you start operating from intentionality? When you work off of a schedule or a routine, you start showing up for yourself every day because you're committed to your goals. You're operating from faith instead of feeling. You start holding yourself accountable for stuff like exercising. You start, even if you have to pray someone into your life to be willing to volunteer, or maybe your mother-in-law or your mom is willing to take your kids once a week for an afternoon, or you kid swap with someone else. I mean, there's so many possibilities. Guess what happens to your IPA? Because your income producing activity on a daily basis is a discipline. It goes back to character. And I feel like that's what I've been learning just in light of homeschooling my kids, parenting. It's character development. And I feel like parenting is character development for us. Like that's why we have kids. That's why we need kids, because they show us things about ourselves. But when we lift the float of discipline, and we lift the lid in one area of your life. So maybe you start exercising every day, 20 minutes, you go on a walk or a slow jog, or you go bike or swim. Guess what happens? When you lift that lid there, what you're lifting, your leadership lid, is basically what it's doing. The other areas of your life are going to start to rise up to that level. It's just this funny phenomenon. So when you get disciplined in one area of your life, it's going to spill over into other areas. That's good news. Okay, so be responsible for your energy. We are in charge of that. That's our responsibility. And fear, anxiety, overwhelm, just take a big circle and put a slash through it. You can also put complaining in there, ingratitude, things like that. So that's just a no. That's what I've been realizing about myself, how I talk, and the things that I say have huge impact. Okay, those words go out into the atmosphere and affect us, right? Affects the people that we're around. So homework this week is doing our Dough app every day consistently. I would also say, make sure you're saying happy birthday to all of your friends on Facebook, social media, wherever you chat and connect with people. That's super important. And don't just say happy birthday. Use a spark. Use something that's going to be like, aw, don't say the same thing that everyone else is saying. Everyone else says happy birthday. You could say, oh my goodness, have the happiest birthday ever. How are you going to celebrate today? Okay, ask a question. Okay. Second thing, 3 sticky notes, 3 blank sticky notes, because those are your 3 people that you're going to add this month. And every single day you're working towards that goal. Okay, the next thing is schedule your posts, and I want you to include at least 1 live video. If you've never done a live video, it's time to do one. It's important, okay? And all of us need to just be intentional about doing live videos, because it makes us into real, relatable people on social media. And it doesn't have to necessarily even be Plexus related. You could do something you're learning. That's the thing is, this is something I was wanting to say, is we have to get away from we are the expert type of mentality, or not that we even have that mentality, but if we come across as the expert, people want to know that this business is doable by anyone. You can pick up a book and you can learn it. So even, you could share something that you're learning out of a book you're reading. Okay, so schedule in a live video with your other posts and schedule out some posts. And the next thing is schedule your week. If you didn't sit down on the weekend and schedule out your week, I'm going to encourage you to get a plan for your week. And I would just go to Walmart. If you don't have a planner, buy a planner. It'll help you be more efficient, and it'll help you be more productive in your life. So there's that. set goals. If you have not set goals for this month, I want you to set goals, and I want you to screenshot whatever your goals are and put them in the thread so that we all can be accountable to our goals and to each other. And then I'd love you guys to also, when you're scheduling your week, schedule in time, quiet time. Maybe it's when you wake up, maybe it's when you go to bed. Just put it in your week, because that's important. Rest is important. Rest is a sign of trust. So it's important to do that. And it's easy, I feel like, in this business, or just in life in general, to get so busy. And especially if you have little kids, where we're always needed all the time, someone's always talking to us or crying for us, is to schedule in some quiet, even 5 minutes of quiet. So there's that. And then we have Amy this week for our Mel audio. So we're kind of winding down. I think there'll be an extra week on that audio. But this week is Amy, and I love that you guys are sharing. So yeah, there'll be 2 extra weeks, but it's good stuff. It's like such good stuff. You'll love the coaching session for you at the end of it. So even if you couldn't relate to Casey this past week, I tried to put this in the chat thread yesterday, it wouldn't let me because I was trying to voice message there. Even if you don't resonate with like a particular person, what I found as I was listening through that is that it gave me empathy and perspective for people, because we didn't live people's childhoods. And so it has given me empathy to realize that some people have some really significant struggles, or they're the way they are because of their childhood. And so I want to be empathetic to that and be able to, even if it's something in particular doesn't resonate with me, it might resonate with someone else, or I may be able to encourage someone that has that. So anyways, I'll open it up. If you guys want to, I'll stick on for another five or so minutes. If you guys have some questions or you want to pop on, I need to plug this in. So I can't tell how much juice my computer has because my kids broke my screen. Okay, who has some insights or questions or wants to share a win? Anyone? You can unmute.
Hey, Megan.
Yeah.
It's Amber. So I have two things, if that's okay. The first thing is, I just wanted to share what I felt kind of like was a God moment, because I have a friend back home in Oklahoma, and she wanted to start Plexus, and she's like, well, I would really start, but there's already a girl in my town that does it, so I would really like to work the business, but there's already one person in my town. And so I was like, okay, well, one of the assignments you gave us was Diamond documentaries, so like, okay, I'm just going to go look through them, not particularly for her, but because it was part of our assignment. And I ran across a girl in Oklahoma who lived in a really small town who said the same thing, and now she's a Diamond. So I sent that to her. So I thought, well, that's a God moment, because out of all the Diamond documentaries that I ran across, that was the one that she needed to hear. So I thought that was great. And then the second thing is more of a question. So for the contest, should I know you get more points for personally sponsoring, but I would also like my husband to go silver. So how do you balance that? Like, what's your advice on that?
Yeah, get him to silver.
Okay.
That's my advice. I mean, you don't have to build under him, but you can help him go silver. That's one thing. Let me see if that plugged in. Sorry, there we go. Okay, I think we're good now. Let me get my chair. That's one thing sometimes when there's an incentive for going silver, or there's a whatever, like extra bonuses for going silver. I mean, sign up your spouse and get them silver, because then you get what? If you fast start silver, then you'll get $500 or $400, whatever it is. So yeah, you get, well, I guess I haven't looked at those the sheet real closely, but don't you get bonuses for developing silvers?
You do.
Oh, yeah, I think that's kind of heavily incentivized. So definitely silvers are awesome.
Yeah, I think it says, well, 50 credits, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 75. I'm sorry, 75.
Okay.
Okay, to do that.
Yeah, because you still get paid, or not paid, but credits off of level 2 ads, and you'll have someone go silver. So that's, to me, that's an easy silver. Does he have influence?
Well, you think, but he's got like 5 people on his team, but I can't get them all to order in the same month.
Oh.
So like, okay. Anyway, so I'll keep working on that then.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can.
I'm sitting in the dark with a sick child, so
Aww.
excuse my appearance. But you know, I this mindset class has been so great for me, and I listened to your recording last night while I was studying for my anatomy and physiology class. Somehow listening to a call and studying works really well for me. And you were saying, like, sometimes you need to speak the thing that everyone else in class is thinking but not, willing to say. And one of the struggles that I want to overcome this summer, especially this month, is I've made the charts and set the goals in the past for like convention or leaders retreat. And then I get so in my head, I get overwhelmed that I can't hit it, and I lose all consistency. And so, like, I want to just, I guess, put myself out there. It's only June 4th, that I can, like, I listened to a call Wendy posted on just having even just a simple chart of a woman who hit a really high, I don't even know what her name was, Cooper, I think. Her last name was Cooper. And she hit a really high rank on, rewards. And it was just a super simple chart she could, like, carry with her and, hit those marks. And I remember, like, Lynn Hauerosel saying, like, she really struggled last year with convention and belief, and Justin just kept saying, like, just keep being consistent and keep doing the things, and like, you can, do this. And, so I just wondered if maybe you could speak on that a little bit, because I really care about people, and I'm really consistent with like my happy wholesalers, but it just seems like when a convention comes up that I treat myself like I'm a slimy door-to-door salesman. I don't know.
So you're wondering how to stay consistent through the long haul of the contest?
And just to stay out, like, the mindset matters, and her talks have been so moving. Like, even though the people necessarily, their stories may not resonate with me, what they're taking away from her, there's always a point every week. Like last night when I was listening to last week's, it was, you make the change in your life. You are responsible for making the change, and you need to acknowledge that you are not the person you once were because you made the change. You know what I mean? And so, like, I know I'm capable of caring and loving on people, and I know that I can, but like, doing that and doing it during contest, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah, I think sometimes we get paralyzed because the contest looks overwhelming or scary or whatever, but it's kind of like, how do you eat an elephant? Just like one bite at a time. So I would just, when this is something that we'll talk about on the team call tonight, is with Leaders Retreat, there's like big vision you have to have, but then there's like, you have to kind of like break it down into, okay, what do I have to do today? Because sometimes we just kind of see like the, I can't think of the word. But basically where we're thinking big picture so much that we don't actually do the things. Like we know like how the contest works, how it's structured, but it kind of just goes back to, what conversations am I creating today? Who am I chatting with? Who am I connecting with? Who am I sharing Plexus specifically with? Who can I tag team with? I mean, that's another thing, is like, if you feel like you know yourself well enough to know that you sometimes lack motivation, or you get overwhelmed and then you don't do the things because you're overwhelmed and you just, go do something else. if you recognize that about yourself, maybe it's like finding a power partner that you guys can tag team up with and just pop on Zoom and do your IPA for an hour each morning just to hold each other accountable. I mean, sometimes it looks like doing creative things like that. So you feel inspired. And if people feel inspired, they will do the things. And so sometimes it's figuring out what inspires you. If it's, happy music, if it's, exercising, whatever the thing is, or if it's working with other people and going to the coffee shop and doing that, do those things because it will help you stay consistent. I have no idea if that helps, but I think just speaking that out, I think that helps just because you've acknowledged that, and then in your brain is going to naturally figure out how to solve that problem,
Yes, I really believe that. Thank you. I really want to overcome. I don't want to be sitting here at the end of August like I should have really talked to somebody about this at the beginning of June. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be responsible for my own motivation to get there, and to succeed as a part of the team. So thank you. That was very helpful.
Yeah, no, I love that. I resonated with what you said about being responsible for your own motivation. I love that. And then I think the other thing is because it looks so, it can look daunting, like looking at those, just the numbers, but realizing that I can do this, I can plug in, I think it's encouraging, if you're willing to do the work, you're going to be successful. And like Charlotte Seams, she's a mom of 12 and she's just like a wealth. I love her approach to Plexus, but she said this business is pretty much 95% mindset. If you believe you can achieve it, you can go do it. So, which is encouraging because I think that's where it comes. That's where it stems from. Anyone else really quick before we pop off? All right. Okay. I know everyone has to get ready for their day. So thank you for being on. Next week is the last week. There is a team call this evening. So I forgot to say that at the beginning of the call, but team call tonight, and there's going to be some good stuff shared. So you all have a great day. Chat with you soon.